Welcome, everyone. It's me, your host, Jenn Walker-Wall, and you've probably noticed we have a little bit of a makeover. Some things are shifting and moving over here, and this is a little transitional behind-the-scenes episode where I just want to share what we're up to, why things look different, and what you can expect. In fact, let me start with what you can expect. This is no longer a podcast called Reimagining Ambition. It's called Careers at the End of the World. And what you can expect content-wise after this transitional episode is pretty much the same thing from last season of Reimagining Ambition. We're giving actionable career advice, sharing insights based on actual job searches happening at the time of recording, sharing those perspectives, strategies that are working. That's what we want. That's all I really want this channel to be, is a place people can come for some affirmation, validation, strategy to refresh their efforts. I'm not really changing that. I'm really just changing the title of the podcast, to be completely honest. Now, let me back up and say a little bit about that. For those of you who have been listening to the podcast, you know that I've had, like, the last 6 months, I've been on a creative journey, recovering from some health issues and setbacks that were holding me back from just not even time and energy, really from thinking about the future of the business, the strategy of the business. I've really been focused on just client work and not much else because I needed to rest, I needed to recover, I needed to schedule doctor's appointments, and that takes an obscenely long time. And so this being the 10-year anniversary of Work Wonders, I really wanted to change things up. And I have been noticing some points of friction, things that felt hard for me in the business. For example, this might seem small, but this is actually a big issue for small business owners. But I was noticing how hard it was for me to show up consistently on social media, and have brand assets that I felt really connected to. I've had those photos and those colors since, before 2020. So I was using them and I loved them and I think they really served a purpose, but it's very weird to just see all these pictures of me smiling in a boardroom with hair and makeup done and dressed up. That's not what I've been doing for the last few years. I don't remember the last time I wore a real work dress, and I haven't been in an office building in years. So I just felt some incongruence. I also feel there's just really serious, difficult, challenging circumstances right now that aren't best addressed by bright pink and blue girl boss vibes. And while I was never a girl boss, really not into that. I just realized it still felt very corporate and it felt very sterile and it didn't feel fun. It didn't feel relevant. So I was just kind of paying attention to things like that. And I was trying to figure out how can I be more consistent, more visible? How can these things and processes feel easier for me? Not just how can I do them, but how can I make it easy for me to do them? And how can I better be integrating my values and interests as a human being into this work, to infuse this work with fun. And don't get me wrong, I like to think working with me is fun, but the work itself is not inherently fun. Nobody's really psyched to work on resumes other than me. So I really wanted to pay attention to what was holding me back, what was making things hard, and try to figure out okay, let's figure out how to address those bottlenecks. And that's when I revisited Bonnie and I sent her an email. So Bonnie is our longtime brand designer. She did our original branding. Not only that, Bonnie and I have a long history. We wrote a book chapter together in another lifetime, and she's very familiar with my work. She's a big champion of Work Wonders careers. She was one of the first 17 people on my email list. I swear I had 17 people for 2 years, and she was one of them. And I don't forget who those people are, So she's a big champion for us. And I felt like I was handing her an impossible task of yes, I feel 10 years into doing this, I do feel really confident about the value that we bring to folks who are navigating personal and professional transitions. I feel really good about our offers. I feel really good not just about what I have to offer to clients, but like what we offer within this niche. But it feels a little out of touch with who I am today. And if you could please like keep my legitimacy, but also give me some like fun witchy vibes, that would be amazing. And I felt like that was like mission impossible. It seemed like a silly, difficult thing to ask for, but my girl delivered. She really did. And she gave me some assets that I can really work with. She gave me great options. It was like a total pleasure. So if you are looking for a brand designer, I want to suggest you consider Bonnie. But it was really funny how just seeing the brand refresh changed so many things for me. Like all of a sudden I had ideas and, things I wanted to talk about, things I wanted to write about, things I wanted, different services and offerings we could have. So it was really exactly what I needed to kind of get things flowing again. So that felt really, really good. I'm also making some additional changes. And I think because it's really important for me to like feel in alignment and integrity with my own work, those changes are mostly like superficial. And not that branding is superficial, but it's external. The changes I had to make internally are pretty minor. I've refreshed some of our services, have some different ideas for different things that you'll see in the weeks ahead. I'm trying really hard to resist the urge to do all the things at once. For many reasons, the last 4 years have been hard. They're hard now in different ways than they were exactly 4 years ago and exactly 2 years ago, but in their own way. I've seen people have really difficult job searches. Not everyone. I've seen people have really easy job searches too, but I think on the whole, it's safe to say that things have been challenging. A lot of people are feeling stuck. A lot of people, are worried they missed their opportunity a couple years ago to kind of leapfrog ahead in terms of, advancement and their salary. That's why I decided to change the title of this podcast from Reimagining Ambition to Careers at the End of the World. I don't actually think the world is ending, but I do think we are witnessing the endings of a lot of things. I think that might be fair to say. And so on top of navigating a job search or a career change or self-employment, it's like we're watching climate change go unaddressed. We're watching COVID continue to disable and kill people every single month. We're watching mass layoffs happen at an alarming rate and job searches taking a lot longer than people are used to. We are living with a heightened awareness of the unsustainable nature of many of our systems. And I think that both explicitly and implicitly impacts how we think about work. Or at the very least, it's another layer that many people are thinking about. I think it's really important when you are a coach or someone working with people individually, one-on-one. It's very easy to make things seem like you can troubleshoot your way out of a lot of things. And honestly, I think when it comes to the job search, you can. You can at an individual level. You have a lot of levers to pull when it comes to navigating your career. Obviously, I've spent the last 10 years watching that, and that fundamentally hasn't changed. And there's just a lot of things that need to be changed and need to evolve in a collective way, in a structural way. Like what people are running into right now, especially like if you look at the tech sector, like they're running into some institutional and structural barriers. Those barriers don't necessarily exist in every industry, as we can see, but I don't have it in me to like gaslight either myself or you about that. And I think it's really important for practitioners who work with people one-on-one to name those barriers and structures so that people understand why they're hitting a wall when they're hitting a wall. Not everything we do is a pull yourself up by your bootstrap situation. Sometimes we have to make really difficult decisions. Sometimes we have to engage in change at a different level to make things happen. I want to be able to address head-on the challenges that people are having in the context that they're happening in, because I think that that's what's important. That's what's important for me, And that's what's important for people to know is like, this is not a you problem. This is an us problem. I think we'll have opportunities in the weeks and months ahead to make some decisions about how we're going to address those collectively. I chose these gem tones that you'll see in the new branding and the new logos. I chose those colors on purpose because they are both, at the same time, they are like dark. They're darker colors than the ones I was using, but they're also so much more vibrant. And that's one of the inspirations for moving forward in this business with the work that we do at this time. I don't think the content will change that much. It's just a little easier for me to think about what kind of content I want to bring you guys. You might have noticed I've taken out the musical intro and outro for the sake of reducing friction. I'm just going to hit record. Additionally, I will be giving our offerings, including our communities, a little bit of love, a little bit of restructuring. And until those are ready to offer again, I am opening up a LinkedIn community for folks who are on our email list. So if you are not on our email list, which will have the same name as this podcast, Careers at the End of the World, you can come on over to workwonderscareers.com and just enter your email, and we will get you access as soon as that is open. I will say I will not have any more podcast episodes coming out until May. This is like an FYI podcast. So I'm going to work on getting some good content done and in for all of you. If you want to DM me on Instagram with any ideas or suggestions or requests, please feel free. I'm collecting lots of inspiration. I've gotten a lot of good suggestions, so thank you for those who have already done that. And thank you for being here. Thank you for your trust. Like, it's not lost on me that people come to me with really major life priorities and trust us as a partner to help you navigate through those times. I am so grateful for that. I really appreciate it. And honestly, I love being a part of it. So thank you for including me. And stay tuned because we have good stuff coming your way. All right, we'll see you next month.